Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. I really appreciate you joining me today, and these stories come from the National Crime Agency and they're based in Northern Ireland in the UK. For some reason, Northern Irish news is not covered in the same way in English media as our own news, and I feel it's as equally as important. In recent months, they've seen a lot of seizures in Northern Ireland and in Ireland as well. In relation to cocaine, that was seized by the Garda in the Republic in a joint operation with Northern Irish Police. The cocaine was worth £12 million and was imported directly from South America. This was in March of this year, and a seizure in Northern Ireland of 20 kilos worth £1.6 million and involved a lorry driver that was from the Wolverhampton area in the West Midlands. He has been charged with the offences of trying to import cocaine from Northern Ireland. And this week, the NCA have been over in Northern Ireland in the Carrickfergus area, carrying out raids in relation to Class A drugs and the supply of it. The Crime Task Force are groups that come from the sectarian violence that is associated to the history in Belfast. 5 men were arrested on the 23rd of March on drug offences after they found a kilo of cocaine. It doesn't seem like a lot of cocaine, but they found it in different areas and cars earlier on last year in the local area, and 80 officers carried out 6 warrants in the area. The men were aged in their 30s and 40s, and 4 of them were later charged with the offences at Musgrave Police Station.
5 people arrested in South East Antrim. These organised criminals bring drugs and misery into our communities, and we're dedicated to tackling that and taking the drugs and the harm off our.
They said it was a long-running investigation into alleged organised crime in relation to the South East Antrim UDA, which is the Ulster Defence Association, a loyalist paramilitary group that wanted Ireland to be part of the UK. The NCA Deputy Director Craig Naylor said, "Today's activities in this major investigation will disturb the drug dealing in the local area." They say the UDA have been known to be involved in many forms of criminality for many years, and they are damaging the community, and we will work with our partners to try to stop this. So they haven't revealed what they've found or if there's any sort of drugs there, but they're doing this on conspiracy. So they're saying that this group, which has political associations, may have been funding that via drugs. And that's a very serious thing that they don't want, because that could lead to further troubles. And in this other story that we covered on our Instagram 6 days ago, a man has been arrested in Derry on suspicion of I.R.A. bomb-making activities. And this is on the other side. The I.R.A. is the opposition to the UDA. So these are opposing political groups, and also there is paramilitary elements to it as well. Police investigating the new I.R.A., which is a spin-off from what we've previously seen, and there was investigating bomb-making activities. They arrested a 52-year-old man, and it follows the search in Cregan as part of the operation targeting dissident Republican groups, storage of explosive devices and equipment. Police say they seized a considerable amount of material that requires further examination. And the PSNI District Commander, Chief Superintendent Darrin Jones, says the youths in the area were manipulated into stopping the police from doing their searches. They said they strongly believed that sinister elements were connected to the violent dissident Republicans that manipulated the local youths in the area and tried to stop the searches taking place. We was actually sent the footage of youths throwing petrol bombs at the police in this incident that happened, and it has now emerged that they say this was for anti-terror purposes. The political group on the side of a free Ireland has criticised the police over the heavy-handed arrest of a woman during the operation. and they say that 3 officers restrained a woman on the ground following an altercation. The PSNI, which is the police service of Northern Ireland, said the operation was called I.R.A, and it targeted the new I.R.A and the dangerous Republican group as it branched out. An arrest on Thursday has targeted the organisation's bomb-making efforts, and last year a government security report warned that the growing sophistication in devices that were ready for use, largely in Derry and the surrounding areas, and the threat has increased in the past 12 months. The police have stated on several occasions the new I.R.A has been reorganising itself following the arrest of the alleged leadership in the same operation. So just with these 2 stories, you can see 2 sides of it. So you've got the UDA, the Ulster Defence Association, being involved in drugs, and the government will of course believe that they're using that drug money to fuel their political means. And the same with the new I.R.A as well. They're raiding them for bomb-making equipment in what they believe could rise tensions between the 2 groups in Northern Ireland. There was a documentary done in 2014 on Vice News. It was called Free Derry, and there's a reason they call it that. The majority of people in Derry want it to be called Derry, but it's actually called Londonderry due to the fact that it's part of the UK. It's a very complicated situation, and that is a documentary worth watching. And the reason why they're talking about the Troubles so much is due to the fact of Brexit as well. Since the UK has left the EU, there has been a lot of questions around the border of Northern Ireland and Ireland. During the worst of the Troubles, the borders were militarised, and this is something that nobody wanted to go back to following the Good Friday Agreement. But due to the fact that Ireland is still part of Europe, but Northern Ireland being part of the UK is leaving the EU, that means that technically there should be a border in place because they're different countries. But as part of the Good Friday Agreement that stopped the Troubles in Ireland, this would actually go against what some people would say would be part of the agreement. Example of why that is an issue and how that could get worse. In February of this year, Northern Ireland halted border checks after threats were given to guards at the checkpoints. 2 Northern Irish ports in Larne and Belfast temporarily suspended border checks over safety fears. A dozen staff were pulled from duty after sinister and menacing behaviour was witnessed on the border. They said there was graffiti in the Larne area 32 kilometres northeast of Belfast that referenced increasing tensions amid the Northern Irish Protocol. The council referred to post-Brexit fears over Northern Ireland and described the port staff as targets. Staff also said they'd seen suspicious behaviour and people writing down registration plates while they were coming to work. The years of work that had gone into stopping the sectarian violence that was known as the Troubles and lasted up until 1998. Little has been done to resolve the issues among the neighbours in the different areas. There is still a lot of division in these areas due to the history. And Brexit hasn't helped this at all. A lot of people in Ireland were worried about Brexit affecting them, especially if there was a no deal, and there would have been a hard border set up between Northern Ireland and the Republic. And due to a lot of conflicts with the politicians in Ireland, there is never a lot of comfort, and this is why a lot of the groups say they still exist, is just in case. It's to protect their communities. This does nothing to settle the troubles that have occurred. In another example of explosives being found in the local area, the PSNI found a beer keg containing explosives that was left beside a Camlough lake. The IED, which is an improvised explosive device, which would be more familiar to here in Iraq and Afghanistan, was inside a beer keg, and it was discovered next to a beauty spot in the local area in South Armagh. The device was similar to one that was found in Keady earlier on in the month on March the 22nd, and it was placed by the water's edge. Several politicians said that the bomb was a viable device, and this was terrifying news. Nobody wants to go back to the old times and why people are thinking this is okay or trying to encourage this in the local community, and even threats to members of government as well. Leo Varadkar, a very important politician in the Republic of Ireland, had his address written on a wall in Belfast in a graffiti threat. This is the second time that this has occurred, and he's been told to not cross the border into Belfast. The PSNI said that graffiti incidents are not helping the situation, and we will try to find out who has done this and bring them to justice. And that is just a brief example example of the sort of tensions that are going on in Ireland right now and some of the contributing factors. It's a very complicated situation and cannot be explained in one video, but we'll definitely follow this story and all of these stories and anything that can come from Northern Ireland, because their stories matter as much as ours do. So I really appreciate you joining me for this episode. I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and follow us online as well. Peace.